Yeah. I just wanted to make a quick video. I just wanted to say, you know, to my Christian brothers and sisters out there, who, you know, I just wanted to say that, God forgave us. When He forgave us, obviously, I mean, this is basic stuff. We are no longer under the power of sin. That doesn't mean that, you know, we won't struggle with sin. It just means that we have the power of God within us, so we are set free from the sin. Although we will still have our struggles, and our struggle being that as long as we are in this body, we are in the sin nature. But the reason He popped those chains and set you free from that sin, and He's delivered me from so much stuff, man. I mean, I can't even really count. And I mean, I sincerely came to Him in November of 2014. It's been a ride since. But the reason He pops, the reason He breaks, the reason He saved you, the reason He saved me, is so we can go out there and serve people. He might call you to serve different than me. Some people He calls to be street preachers. Other people He calls to the ministry somehow. But He calls us to serve people, to reach a lost world. That doesn't mean that we chase people down the street and be, belligerent and be loudmouths and beat people over the head with it. That's not the way I do it. And I know maybe some people do that, and I'm sure they do, but really, I mean, I would rather lead people to God, not away from God. Because, you know, if you frustrate people and you beat people over the head with God, then that makes them not even want to see. They want to, like, it's God who lives through you. Like, these people, like, you are not that you're God, you never will be. But it's God that lives in you, through you. So I mean, when these people see you, you want them to see, in essence, God. Not that you're God. You never obviously. But you want to be not. I mean, obviously, you're not trying to sit here and pitch God like He's some kind of, appliance, or like some kind of cell phone or something. I mean, he's not like a. It's not a business. But you're just, He saved us for a purpose, so we can go out there and reach a lost world. I mean, I have freedom in me. It doesn't matter what I feel or what you feel. It's not based on feelings. If we run our lives, based on emotions and stuff like that, it's not. Hold on. We can't base our life, our Christian, our walk with God, based on emotions, because emotions are up and down. I've said this a million times in my videos. Are up and down, and you can't base them on emotions. I know emotions are part of who you are, and God gave us emotions for a reason, but they can't be the end all be all, because they can easily lead you astray, and they've done it to me. And I'm sure they've done it to you, because emotions can be powerful. So I mean, if they're not understood, I mean, just pray that God, keeps it level. But He saved us for a purpose. He popped those chains for a purpose. So now you can go out and tell people what He did for you. Like He delivered me from cigarettes, like right away. I mean, I'm not talking like the next day or anything, but like literally like right away, like within that month. I mean, I was like literally like, I mean, there's no excuse for it. I could never do this myself. I've had people walk up to me and say, well, it's mind over matter or whatever. Mind over matter, dude. There's a lot of people out there in this world that want to quit a lot of things, but they can't do it. Mind over matter. There's things. I mean, there's still sin in my life that I want to get over more than anything else. If it was that easy, mind over matter, then I would be a perfect person. I don't want to sin. I don't take joy in, in doing sinful things. If I could flip a switch and make it all go away, I would. That's mind over matter. In a nutshell. There's no such thing as mind over matter. I've had so many people tell me that. That's not even the case, man. I was delivered from it. You know, I was delivered from caffeine. I was delivered from all other things too. Um, you know, but I mean, not drug wise. I was never a big, you know, I never did drugs. I mean, the most I ever did was I smoked weed, and that was it. I mean, that was like a phase I went through when I was like real, like not young, obviously, but young enough. I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, it's part of my life, whatever. You know, but I mean, I didn't even really, you know, it wasn't even a big part of my life at all. You know, but I mean, like, I mean, he took that out of my life too. I mean, he was working in my life before I even gave him my life, because he was kind of prepping me for that moment. But you know, it didn't go beyond weed though. Like I never had, you know, like, you know, like weed was just weed. Weed was it as far as like, you know, weed was it. Um, you know, I was never a drinker or anything. I don't, you know, it's not like I haven't had a drink. Of course I have, but I'm never. I was never a drinker. You know, I just did it to be sociable or whatever. You know, but you know, I don't know. I mean, he delivered me from things, and so I mean, that's why, you know, we go out there and you know, we can do the same. You know, we can share that news with people, and every time you get a chance, like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to run down the street and just, you know, chase people down and beat them over the head with it. You don't have to do that. Just whenever you get an opportunity to really relate to somebody, like if he delivered you from, you know, a narcotic, nicotine or caffeine or worse, you know, or weed or something. I don't know, whatever. You know, like whenever you get that opportunity, reach out to somebody. You know, you don't have to be awkward about it. You don't have to just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, do you know Jesus?" You don't have to do that. I mean, you can have, you know, there's millions of ways to do it. You can spark up a conversation about football if you want, and then just kind of work it in there. You know, I mean, if you want to. I mean, really, I mean, he didn't save you to just sit back and be passive. He didn't save me to sit back and be passive. You know, so I'm just glad that he saved me. Um, you know, I mean, could I be more passionate about the stuff I do? Yeah, but I'm working through that. Um, you know, but I don't know. I mean, he saved us so we can, you know, go out there and do things. So, I mean, I'm very grateful for everything that he's done in my life and everything and the stuff he'll do in the future. And you know, I mean, there's people out there that want to quit smoking, and there's people out there that really want to quit smoking, like these people. You know, when I say cigarettes, because I can relate to that. You know, um, you know, there's people out there that put the patches on, that chew the gum, that go and really like try to um, just quit cold turkey or kind of wean off of them, or you know, hypnotism. Like people get hypnotized, will try to do it that way. I mean, it's hypnotism. I've never done any of that, but I mean, I could imagine it's probably like $200 a session, right? Not to mention hypnotism, man. You don't want to mess with that. I mean, that's like really, you're really playing with fire spiritually by doing that stuff. I mean, I can imagine. But hey, do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, you know. And sometimes he won't deliver people right away like he did me. But I mean, he hooked me up pretty good, you know, like almost instantly. Um, just pop, pop, pop. Just started taking stuff out of my life. Um, I mean, like I said, obviously there's things, you know, that are left. You know, I mean, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. But you know, it is what it is, and you know, that's what happens. You know, when he died, and when, you know, that's what that finished work does. It gives you that freedom to be delivered, and he doesn't deliver you so you could just be passive and, you know, sit back and you know, just accept that deliverance, just accept that, you know, like in my case, cigarettes. You know, um, I mean, sure, there's people who I see smoking. I don't mention God to them. You know, there's a lot of people who smoke, but when I get that chance, when I get that solid chance to, you know, if I feel led to or whatever. I mean, even if I don't feel led to, if I get that chance, even just, you know, whatever. If I just get the chance for whatever reason, I'm gonna do it. Not because it's my obligation. It is my obligation, but that's not because it's my obligation, but just because I care about people enough where I know what it's like to be hooked on something like that, you know? And when you start doing it, it's just like you don't really realize that you're really gonna get hooked eventually if you don't cut it out. Like it creeps up on you. In 1 minute it's just fun and games, you know? 1 minute it's just something to do, and the next minute it's hang on. You know, and the next minute it's you're hooked, and good luck trying to get off it. Like, really, good luck. The guy, I don't want to sit here and talk about somebody who's not here. I'm just saying there's people that start smoking when they're really young, 13, 14, whatever, even younger in some cases. And these people, they die of it by the time they're, in some cases, my age, really, maybe older, I mean, you don't think that, if I end up dying of smoking, it won't happen until I'm 70 or 80 years old, so by that time I'll be dead anyways. No, man. You don't understand, what you're doing. And then by the time it really kind of sinks in, like, dude, I can, like, die, but you can't break away from it, man. It's an addiction. I mean, that's one of the most, it annoyed me so much when people would say, you should really stop smoking. Like, I had a choice in the matter? Dude, I'm addicted, Like, I was hooked, bro. I couldn't just throw away the cigarettes and say, you know what, you're right. And then just throw them in the garbage and just get on with my... Dude, it's an addiction, man. You can't, it's like, and nicotine is the most addicting drug out there. It's more addicting than heroin, dude. I mean, it's not like you're shooting it into your veins or nothing, but it's nicotine. You ever see people sucking on air tanks and smoking cigarettes too? I mean, I've seen people with cancer and they can't quit smoking. A lot of people can't quit if their life depended on it, literally. So you young people with your little vapey machines or whatever they are, just think, because it's not going to stop there. There's nicotine in that vape thing that you're smoking. You think you're just going to stick to the little vapey thing? I have a hard time believing that. You're going to move on to cigarettes eventually. I mean, you're not doing yourself a favor. I mean, it tastes so good, it's cherry, and all my friends are doing it, it's just something we do. Yeah, well, that's how alcoholism starts. I mean, I was never a drinker, but I've known, I mean, that's how addiction starts for the most part, especially alcohol and cigarettes, because alcohol is sociable. So that's why I mentioned alcohol, because it's a sociable thing, especially when you're younger, at least where I come from, like my neighborhood. I don't know what it's like when people, I mean, really, if you live out in the country and you're just kind of secluded to, whoever, I don't know how it works out. I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing, but when you're in a populated area and you have a choice of a lot of friends, and you have, you could just, it's like everything is right there. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be dumb about it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in the country. Of course it does. But I'm saying when you're in the country, you're kind of confined to a certain community of people. But when you're where I'm at, everything and everyone is like, dude, it's like right there. I mean, it just goes on from there and on and on and on, like people galore, I mean, I don't live in some crazy metropolitan area, but it's not the country either, I mean, so, I mean, my point is that, it's a sociable thing, and it starts off being fun. It starts off just, me and my friends are doing it, and then before you know it, maybe your friends will stop doing it, maybe they won't, but, you just, really, I mean, cigarettes starts off the same way. Nobody pressured me into smoking. Nobody. It wasn't peer pressure that got me into it. Nobody handed me a cigarette and said, dude, try this. No, not at all. I made the conscious choice. My mother was doing it. My sister was doing it. So I guess you can kind of say it was peer pressure in like a roundabout, indirect sort of way. I grew up around it, and I just remember picking up one of my mom's cigarettes, when I was like 15 or 16 years old, smoking it, inhaling it, and I didn't cough or anything, and I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy. So I don't know, I kind of played with fire from that point on, and I